Hello everyone, welcome to my review of Prey, the latest film in the long-running Predator franchise. Now, I'm a very casual fan of the Predator franchise. I really like the first one, and then I can have fun with some of the sequels, but it's never been one of those franchises that I love. It's like one of my favorites of all time, so there was a new Predator movie coming out. I was kind of intrigued by it because it seemed pretty different, going back to a time period that we've never seen before, kind of like 300 years before the original Predator movie, so kind of a new spin on the Predator franchise. So, yeah, I was looking forward to this one. Yeah. So, what did I think about it? You're about to find out. So, as always, we will start off with the positives, and I think the biggest positive for this film is that it just goes back to the basics. The first Predator movie is like a very small scale movie compared to the rest of the franchise, because some of those movies kind of go off the rails to a huge, big action movie blockbuster type thing. This one goes very much back to the basics. It's a very small scale film with not a whole lot of characters, and it's just pretty much just the main character versus the Predator. So it's a very, very, very nice return to form for the Predator franchise, a franchise that was desperately in need to get back on track. This movie's definitely a course correction for that. I liked the whole setting of it being mostly this Comanche tribe where they're using, like bows, arrows, spears, like weapons they made themselves against the predators, not like huge machine guns or laser guns or stuff that you see in the later Predator films. So I thought the time period was nice. Also, on the topic of the time period, the Predator isn't as advanced as it is in the later movies, so it doesn't have the laser guns. It has, like swords and like shields and stuff like that. So a more primitive version of the Predator that we've seen. So like very primitive in terms of like a Predator film, but I thought it was really nice and I really enjoyed that quite a bit. And then my final positive for the film is that I thought there was a lot of really good action sequences in this film. Probably my favorite action sequences in the entire Predator franchise, to be honest. When I'm looking for action, I'm more into like hand-to-hand combat sort of thing, not so much just dudes shooting machine guns the whole time. I like, more physical stuff, like hand-to-hand stuff. So yeah, this movie has a lot of that, so I was pretty pleased with that, pretty surprised that they did that in a Predator film. So yeah, I was thoroughly pleased and surprised at how much I enjoyed the action in this film. I got one mixed aspect to talk about, and that's our main character. I think she's a nice character. I think she fits the story well. I like the lead actress that portrays her. I just didn't think the movie did a whole lot with developing her character. Pretty much in the movie, it's just she just wants to prove herself as this hunter warrior thing, and that's pretty much the only thing she does in the film. Just tries proving herself by taking out the predator. There's no like extra layers to her. There's not like she doesn't really learn something about herself or anything. It's just like they didn't really do a whole lot with the main character. So I liked the main character we followed. She's fine. I was along for the ride with it. I just wish they had done a little bit more with her character. And now we will move on to my negatives, which I have two fairly sizable negatives towards this film. First off, I don't think the story here is all that original. It's a story that we've seen plenty of times. Like I mentioned in the mixed aspect, you have the character wants to prove themselves, so this is kind of like Mulan with a predator, I guess. So, and Mulan's been adapted so many different ways. Things like, that basic story of Mulan. So, yeah, that's basically just the story of this movie, but with a predator. So, yeah, not a fully original story. It's still a story you can get behind and enjoy. It's just not a completely original. Like, we've seen this type of story before, so yeah, I wish they had done something different in the story department, add like a different twist on it, or just not do that formula. And then my second negative is going to be the CGI in this film. Now, when CGI is done well, is done beautifully well, but there's a lot of CG in this movie that was like, ooh, doesn't look that great. Especially like CG blood, you know, when the Predator's slaying people. There's a lot of like blood splurts and stuff that just doesn't look good. Like it doesn't look top notch like I think CGI could or should look like in some franchises, especially when you have a franchise like the Predator franchise, which is a fairly well-known franchise. So yeah, the CG really pulled me out of this film. I mean, some of it looks okay and passable, but it could have been a lot better from a technical standpoint. So yeah, I really liked this movie. As someone who's not a die-hard fan of the Predator franchise, I thoroughly enjoyed this one. I mean, in my mind, this is probably the best of the Predator sequels. It might even be my favorite Predator film. I don't know, but yeah, I really enjoyed this film for what it was. So yeah, if you like the Predator franchise, definitely check this one out. You'll enjoy it. It is streaming only on Hulu, so if you don't have Hulu, you can do a 30-day free trial. So if you can do that free trial, do it and check this movie out. Overall, I would give this movie probably like a 7 out of 10 on the rating scale, and on the entertainment scale, probably like an 8 out of 10. So yes, what did you think of Prey, the latest film in the Predator franchise? Let me know your thoughts on the film down below in the comment section. That'd be much appreciated to get an awesome discussion going down there. Like I normally do when new franchises come out, I'll be ranking all the Predator movies. There's 5 of them. I'll be ranking those in just a few days. If you'd like to come back to my channel, go ahead, click the subscribe button so that way you can see that awesome video. Also, it would be much appreciated if you checked out other 2022 movie reviews I've done. I have a playlist that I'll put on my end card. So yes, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great rest of your day.